Hey guys, it's Victoria with Nutrition by Victoria. Welcome to today's video. Today I am going to be answering questions again from my latest YouTube video it was a weight loss Q&A on exercise and cortisol, my weight gain Ozempic phase. So I'll leave a link for that video in the description of this video if you would like to check that video out. It's a good one. So I'm going to answer some questions because you guys have been leaving me a lot of good comments. So let's get started. What is HCLFLP? That is an acronym for high carb, low fat, low protein, and that is the diet that I promote for humans to eat to be optimally lean, fit, and healthy. Okay. All right, I don't understand how sugar can be good. There's no research that supports the sugar that you consume as something good. Please explain in basic language. I'm 68 years old and have never heard anything like this. Well, there is research that supports this, and it's called biochemistry. So if you go into a biochem book, I have a really good textbook called Human Nutrition and Metabolism, and you look up the TCA cycle. You can even do this using Google. You will see that glucose is the primary substrate for our tricarboxylic acid energy generation cycle that occurs in the mitochondria of our cells. All starts with glucose. Our body doesn't care where that glucose comes from. It just wants it to be available so that it can generate ATP. So whether it's coming from starch, polysaccharides, sucrose, disaccharides, or fruit, which is usually a combination of monosaccharides and disaccharides with maybe, a little bit of polysaccharide in there. Our body doesn't care. It says, give me the sugar. And that's why I promote eating fruits, sugars, and starches so that you give your body a variety of carbohydrate molecules to work with for your ATP production. That also eliminates, well, I don't like to eat fruit. Well, then eat a starch-based diet. And if you don't like starch, then eat a fruit-based diet. But I say eat all of it so that you have enough variety to work with so that you fill your carbohydrate needs. And everybody wants to eat carbohydrate, right? They want to eat all the sweet fruit. They want to eat all the fruit sorbet, the sugary peaches, the sugary drinks, the starchy dinners, the pizza, pasta, sushi, the stir fries, the burritos. Everybody wants to eat those foods. Nobody wants to eat just meat and fat, okay? People are only doing that because they look crazy and don't understand human nutritional needs and human metabolism. So sugar is good in any quantity. Our body completely regulates how much we need to eat by, total regulation of our hunger and fullness cues. And not to mention, I find it extremely difficult to overeat carbohydrate. One, I'll get full, and two, once you get used to eating carbohydrate all the time, there's no binging out on it. You just eat as much as you want at every meal. And also, I often find that it's hard to eat enough, okay? So once you are regularly eating enough carbohydrates, your metabolism just gets so primed because your body knows that the glucose is coming in, and it just burns it up really quickly. And that's honestly why it's good to eat fruits and sugars during the day, so that you have that energy comes in and then you get it real quickly and it doesn't bog you down. And then when you eat your starches later in the day, it definitely slows you down because more energy has to go into digestion. So it's the perfect meal to have, to wind down at the end of the day and get ready to fill your glycogen tank overnight. And then use some of that glycogen as you, do your 12-hour fast. Let's get to the next question. Okay, about the sugar. I eat a very high fruit diet, so I'm not afraid of fruit sugar. That's wonderful. My question is processed granulated sugar, and what I've heard is that processed sugar can shut down your immune system hours after ingesting. What is your opinion on that? Okay, so what makes fruit sweet, or what indicates a high Brix value in fruit is its sweetness, okay? So Brix is something we use to measure the sweetness of a fruit or something that's, generally it's a fruit, produce that's grown. Um, and it indicates the nutrient density of that fruit. Okay, so if a fruit is super sweet, it's also going to be super nutrient dense, and it means that it was grown in really good soil. Okay, so that's what a farmer wants from his crop, is it for it to have a very high Brix value. It also means it's super tasty. The sweeter something is, I generally find that it digests better too, because sugar, when you eat something that's really sugary, it already starts like dissolving into your cells for energy production. So it hits your GI tract, it's going to make everything that's there, your enterocytes, work better, okay? So, eating a high fruit diet where you're already eating a lot of sweet fruit, what's the difference between having some fruit that's not very sweet because, it was grown like improperly, or you get something from the grocery store and you cut into it and you're like, oh, this isn't that sweet, but I really want to eat it because I just spent all this money on it. Then you just blend it with some sugar and some water, sprinkle some sugar over top. I really like to put sugar over top strawberries or berries in general to just sweeten them up and make them less tart. What's the difference, right? Sugar is sugar, okay? So especially when it's consumed with fruit, it's like the ideal combination, because that's how nature would have intended it anyways, with really high soil quality, and producing this really high Brix value fruit. Okay, so sugar is shutting down the immune system after ingesting. So this is actually the opposite. Sugar enhances your immune functioning. I was just exposed to the norovirus that's going around right now where I live, and my kids came home from school and had symptoms of that. So at first I was like, oh well, it's just the kid's stomach flu, right? Well, no. And then my husband got it and my mom got it, and I had one day where my belly felt a little weird, and I just kept sipping on my fruit juices and having fruit sorbet and sugary goodness, and I was done with it in 24 hours, and I didn't even have any symptoms. And I really owe that to how much sugar I consume. It's just benefiting my immune system tremendously. Sugar enhances iron absorption. Everything works better with sugar. So the thing about this sugar shutting down the immune system hours after ingesting it, the thing is with sugar, you can't eat it with a lot of fat, okay, without having symptoms of insulin resistance, which is what inflammation is, and that's what they're referring to with shutting down the immune system, is promoting inflammation. So when you take out the foods that promote the inflammation, which is your oils and your animal products predominantly, and your other plant overt fats, if you're consuming a lot of them, you take that out of the diet, you're left with a high carb, low fat diet, and that improves immune functioning, okay? Great questions though. Like I said, sugar is sugar. Like in nature, we would be seeking out sugar. When we taste sugar on our tongue, we're like, that's so good, it's so sweet. That's before we had the ability to identify things like scientifically, we would find food according to how it smelled, how it looked. Fruit is very colorful, and then how it tasted. So fruit tastes sweet. If it tastes sweet, we're gonna eat it, right? If it doesn't taste sweet, you don't want to eat it. So you add sugar to it, and then you want to eat it, and you get the nutrients and the extra sugars in to make it what it's supposed to taste like, right? With starches, when we cook them, we're turning that starch into sugar, and then it tastes really good and we want to eat it. A baked potato has a glycemic index higher than sugar, okay? And that's because it has so many polysaccharides just lumped into one little potato, so dense, that when you cook it, it turns all that into sugar. And even animals, like herbivores, they eat grass all day long. They're looking for the sugar in the grass. Carnivores, they want the blood of the animal that they're eating because it contains sugar. We are not carnivores though, and we don't think raw, dead flesh tastes good. Otherwise, people would be eating it. I mean, there is some weirdos that do eat it, but oh my gosh, we don't do well running on ketosis. It's a last-ditch effort to keep us alive during long-term starvation, and it wreaks havoc on our metabolism and on our organ system. So it's not something that you want to do as a human. What you want to do is eat enough glucose so that you can fuel your cells with the ATP that they need in order to work properly. Okay? We'll do one more question here. Hey, Victoria. I have a question to ask you. I am trying to recover from a 7-year eating disorder. I'm 5'10", 115 pounds. Whoa, that is pretty light. Let's find out what that BMI is. Oh boy, 16.5. Ooh, yikes. Okay. I'm eating high carb, low fat, and most days am moderately active, 45-minute walk, 10-minute rebounding, other mild exercises throughout the day. I am eating an average of 5,500 calories a day, and I'm wondering if it is too much since I feel so bloated and tired after eating. Also regurgitate some food unintentionally and don't digest half of my food intake. Do you recommend me to be less active or to keep up the fitness level, or just listen to my body and rest, no exercise if I feel up to it? Any advice on food and diet and exercise would be much appreciated. Well, Summer, that is her name, I would say here, one, you should sign up to work with me, okay? I have a coaching group, I do one-on-one Zoom calls, and I have a coaching program. And a link for that is in the description box of this video. I think that the GI issues that you're having are completely normal because I'm assuming, you calorie restricted to be at that size. So that actually shuts down our GI system. So it makes it lazy, so it doesn't want to work properly. So I think that your calorie intake is great. You don't need to track it here. I would just, let your hunger signals kind of take over. Because at that low weight, your leptin level is going to be low, and it is going to be making you experience hyperphagia, which is where you're just hungry all the time. I am not sure what you're eating, but I would focus on easy to digest foods like fruits, sugars, and starches. If you're feeling bloated and tired, that's normal, because in order to be at that weight, you're going to have experienced elevated cortisol quite often, so your adrenals are going to have to take some time to recover, and then the bloating's going to be from your system not being used to food. So you gotta spend some time just letting your body level out. I had to do the same thing because I'm 5'11" and a half, and I was 125 pounds, and the hyperphagia hit me hard. I was definitely eating as much as you are in terms of calories, and I was feeling the same as well. I forget what year it was, but I just slept so much when I was recovering when I could, because my adrenals were just so shot. I think the exercise is fine as long as it feels good, but you don't want to be doing any intensity right now. You don't want to be trying to build fitness while you are recovering from an eating disorder. You want to just be keeping active per your abilities, just to maintain like muscle tone and just to help with feeling good, but you don't need to like do any structured like activity. Just do what feels good. Yeah, so I think that covers everything. In order to, dive further into this, we'd have to work together. There was some feedback here. Some people saying 5,500 calories every single day while eating very low fat. I can only average about 2,500 calories a day, and I eat as much as I want without calorie restriction. Never been able to eat more than 4,000 calories in one day. You also are probably not recovering from an eating disorder, DJ. When you're recovering from an eating disorder, it's normal for your calorie intake to be super high because, like I said, low leptin triggers hyperphagia. Hyperphagia is when you have an increased appetite that helps you to restore your body weight fast, okay? So that you can get in a good place metabolically speaking and hormonally speaking. Okay, and eventually, after you get through hyperphagia, you have weight restoration. That's going to level out as your leptin level normalizes, and then you're going to experience a normal level of hunger along with satiety, especially eating a high carb, low fat diet. Okay, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Leave any more comments and questions down below. I do want to do a reaction video. Let me know what you think I should do for this week. Okay, bye guys.